The Prologue to the Manciple's Tale. Do you not know where stands a little town that's called by all about Bob up and down, under the Blean down Canterbury way? There did our host begin to jape and play, and he said, Sirs, what? Done is in the mire. Is there no man then who, for prayer or hire, will wake our comrade who's so far behind? A thief might easily rob him and bind. So now, see how he's nodding, see now by Cock's bones, as if he'd fall down from his horse at once. Is that a cook of London with mischance? Make him come forward, he knows his penance, for he shall tell a tale here by my fay, although it be not worth a bunch of hay. Awake, you cook, cried he, God give you sorrow, what ails you that you sleep thus? It's good morrow. Have you had fleas all night, or are you drunk, or did you toil all night in some queen's bunk, so that you cannot now hold up your head? The cook, who was all pale and nothing red, said to our host, So may God bless my soul bless, as there is on me such a drowsiness. I know not why that I would rather sleep than drink a gallon of best wine and cheap. Well, said the Manciple, if 'twill give ease to you, Sir Cook, and in no way displease the folk that ride here in this company, and if our host will of his courtesy, I will for now excuse you from your tale, for in good faith your visage is full pale. Your eyes are bleary also, as I think, and I know well your breath right sour does stink. All of which shows that you are far from well. No flattering lies about you will I tell. See how he yawns, just look the drunken wight, as if he'd swallow all of us outright. Now close your mouth, man, by your father's kin. Ah, may hell's devil set his foot therein. Your cursed breath will soon infect us all. Fie, stinking swine, fie, evil you befall. Ah, take you heed, sirs, of this lusty man. Now, sweet sir, would you like to ride at fan? It seems to me you're in the proper shape. You've drunk the wine that makes a man an ape, and that is when a man plays with a straw. The cook grew wroth, for this had touched the raw, and at the Manciple he nodded fast, for lack of speech in him his horse did cast. And where he lay till he up the rest him took, which was a feat of riding for a cook. Alas, that he had kept not to his ladle, for ere he was again within his saddle, there was a mighty shoving to and fro, to lift him up, in hugest care and woe. So all unwieldy was this sorry ghost, and to the Manciple then spoke our host. Since drink has got such utter domination over this fellow here by my salvation, I think that badly he would tell his tale, for whether wine or old or musty ale is what he's drunk, he speaks all through his nose. He snorts hard, and with cold he's lachrymose. Also, he has more than enough to do to keep him and his nag out of the slough. And if he fall down off his horse again, well, I'll have him quite enough of labor then, in lifting up his heavy drunken corse. Tell on your tale he matters not, of course. Yet, Manciple, in faith, you are not wise, thus openly to chide him for his vice. Some day he'll get revenge, you may be sure, and call you like a falcon to the lure. I mean he'll speak of certain little things, as say to point out in your reckonings, things not quite honest, were they put to proof. Nay, said the Manciple, that were ill behoof. So might he easily catch me in his snare, yet would I rather pay him for the mare, which he rides on, than have him with me strive. I will not rouse his rage, so may I thrive. That which I said as jesting word, and you know what, I have here in a gourd, a draught of wine, yea, of a good ripe grape, and now anon you shall behold a jape. This cook shall drink thereof, sir, if I may, on pain of death he will not say me nay. And certainly to tell as it was, out of this gourd the cook drank deep, alas. What need had he? He drunk enough that morn, and when he had blown into this said horn, he gave the Manciple the gourd again. And of that drink the cook was wondrous fain, and thanked him then in such wise as he could. Then did our host break into laughter loud, and said, I see well it is necessary, where we go, good drink with us we carry, for that will turn rancor and all unease, to accord in love and many a wrong appease. O Bacchus thou, all blessed be thy name, Who can't so turn stern earnest into gain? Honor and thanks be to thy deity, concerning which you'll get no more from me. Tell on your tale, good Manciple, I pray. Well, sir, said he, now hear what I will say. The Manciple's Tale of the Crow. When Phoebus once on earth was dwelling here, as in the ancient books it is made clear, he was the lustiest of bachelors. In all this world, and even the best archer, he slew Python the serpent as he lay, sleeping within the sunlight on a day. And many another noble, worthy deed he with his bow wrought, as all men may read. He played all instruments of minstrelsy, and sang so that it made great harmony. To hear his clear voice in the joyous sun, truly the king of Thebes, that Amphion, who by his singing walled that great city, could never sing one half so well as he. Therewith he was the handsomest young man that is or was since first the world began. What needs it that his features I revive? For in the world was none so fair alive. Compact of honor and of nobleness, perfect he was in every worthiness. This Phoebus of all youthful knights the flower, whom generous chivalry did richly dower. For his amusement, sign of victory, over that Python says the old story, was wont to bear in hand a golden bow. Now Phoebus had within his house a crow, which in a cage he'd fostered many a day, and taught to speak, as men may teach a jay. White was his crow, as is a snow-white swan, and counterfeit the speech of any man. He could, when he desired to tell a tale, therewith in all this world no nightingale could by 100,000th part, they tell, carol and sing so merrily and well. Now had this Phoebus in his house a wife, whom he loved better than he loved his life, and night and day he used much diligence to please her and to do her reverence. Save only if it's truth that I shall say, jealous he was, and so did guard her eye, for he was very loath befooled to be, and so is everyone in such degree. But all in vain, for it avails over one not, a good wife who is clean in deed and thought. Should not be kept a prisoner, that's plain, and certainly the labor is in vain. That guards a slut, for sirs it just won't be. This hold I for an utter idiocy, that men should lose their labor guarding wives. So say these wise old writers in their lives. But now to purpose, as I first began, this worthy Phoebus did all that a man could do to please, thinking that by such pleasure, and by his manhood and his other measures, to make her love him and keep faithful too. But God knows well that nothing man may do will ever keep restrained a thing that nature has made innate in any human creature. Take any bird and put it in a cage, and do your best affection to engage, and rear it tenderly with meat and drink, of all the dainties that you can bethink, and always keep it cleanly as you may. Although its cage of gold be never so gay, yet would this bird, by 20,000-fold, rather within a forest dark and cold, go to eat worms and all such wretchedness, for ever this bird will do his business, to find some way to get outside the wires. Above all things his freedom he desires. Or take a cat and feed him well with milk, and tender flesh, and make his bed of silk, and let him see a mouse go by the wall. Anon he leaves the milk and flesh and all, and every dainty that is in that house. Such appetite has he to eat a mouse. Desire has here its mighty power shown, and inborn appetite reclaims its own. A she-wolf also has a vulgar mind, the wretchedest he-wolf that she may find, or least a reputation she'll not hate, whenever she is desirous of a mate. All these examples speak I of these men, who are untrue and not of sweet women. For men have a liquorish appetite, on lower things to do their base delight, than on their wives, though they be ne'er so fair, and ne'er so true, and ne'er so debonair. Flesh is so fickle, lusting beyond measure, that we in no one thing can long have pleasure, or virtuous keep more than a little while. This Phoebus, who was thinking of no guile, he was deceived for all his quality, for under him a substitute had she, a man of little reputation one, worth naught to Phoebus by comparison. The more harm that, it often happens so, whereof there comes so much of harm and woe. And so befell when Phoebus was absent. His wife as quickly for her leman sent, Her layman, truly, 'tis a knavish speech. Forgive it me, I do indeed beseech. The wise old Plato says, as you may read, the word must needs accord well with the deed, and if a man tell properly a thing, the word must suited be to the acting. But I'm a vulgar man, and thus I say there is no smallest difference truly between a wife who is of high degree, if of her body she dishonest be, and a poor unknown wretch other than this, if it be true that both do what's amiss. The gentlewoman in her state above, she shall be called his lady in their love, and since the other's but a poor woman, she shall be called his wench or his layman. And God knows very well, my own dear brother, men lay the one as low as lies the other. Between a tyrant or usurping chief, and any outlawed man or errant thief, is just the same, there is no difference. One told to Alexander this sentence, that since the tyrant is of greater might, by force of numbers to slay men outright, and burn down house and home even as a plain, lo, for that he's a captain, that's certain. And since the outlaw has small company, and may not do so great a harm as he, nor bring a nation into such great grief, why he's called but an outlaw or a thief. But since I'm not a man the text to spell, nothing at all from text now will I tell. I'll go on with my tale as I began, when Phoebus' wife had sent for her layman. At once they wrought all of their libertinage, and the white crow, I hanging in the cage, saw what they did and never said a word. And when again came Phoebus home, the Lord, this crow sang loud, cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. What bird? Asked Phoebus. What song now sing you? Were you not wont so merrily to sing, that in my heart it was a joyful thing to hear your voice? Alas, what song is this? By God, said he, I do not sing amiss. Phoebus, said he, for all your worthiness, for all your beauty and your nobleness, for all your song and all your minstrelsy, for all your watching, bleared is your bright eye, by one of small repute as well as known, not worth, when I compare it with your own, the value of a gnat as I may thrive, for on your bed your wife I saw him swive. What will you more? The crow thereafter told, in sober fashion giving witness bold, how that his wife had done her lechery, to his great shame and with great villainy, repeating that he'd seen it with his eyes. Then Phoebus turned away in sad surprise. He thought his wretched heart would break for woe. His bow he bent and set there an arrow, and in his angry mood his wife did slay. This is the result, there is no more to say. For grief of which he ceased his minstrelsy, broke harp and lute, gittern and psaltery, and too he broke his arrows and his bow, and after that he spoke thus to the crow. Traitor, cried he, with tongue of scorpion, you have brought me to ruin, treacherous one. Alas that I was born, why died I not? O my dear wife, jewel of joy, God wot, who were to me so trusty and so true, now you lie dead with face all pale of hue, and you were guiltless, I dare swear that to this. O hasty hand to do so foul amiss, O stupid brain, O anger all reckless, that unadvisedly struck the guiltless. O ill distress that jealousy had sown, where were your thoughts and your discretion flown? O every man beware of hastiness, do not believe without a strong witness. Strike not too soon before you reason why, and be advised full well and soberly, ere you do any execution thus, in your wild anger when it is jealous. Alas, 1,000 folk has hasty ire, ruined and left them bleeding in the mire. Alas, I'll slay myself forthwith for grief. And to the crow he said, O you false thief, I will anon requite you that false tale. You sing but lately like a nightingale. Now, you false thief, your songs are over and done, and you're all those white feathers loose, each one. Nor ever in your life more shall you speak. Thus men on traitors shall their justice wreak. You and your offspring ever shall be black, nor ever more sweet noises shall you make, but you shall cry in tempest and in rain, in token that through you my wife was slain. And on the crow he leaped, and that anon, and plucked out his white feathers every one, and made him black and stilled for evermore. his song and speech, and flung him out the door, unto the devil, where I leave this jack, and for this reason now all crows are black. Masters, by this example, I do pray, you will beware and heed what I shall say. Never tell any man through all your life how that another man has humped his wife. He'll hate you mortally, and that's certain. Dan Solomon, as these wise clerks explain, teaches a man to keep his tongue from all. But, as I said, I am not textual. Nevertheless, thus taught me my good dame. My son, think of the crow, and high God's name. My son, keep your tongue still, and keep your friend. A wicked tongue is worse than any fiend. My son, from devils men themselves may bless. My son, high God, of his endless goodness. Walled up the tongue with teeth and lips and cheeks, that man should speak advisedly when he speaks. My son, full oftentimes, for too much speech. Has many a man been killed, as clerics teach, by speaking little and advisedly? Is no man harmed, to put it generally? My son, your foolish tongue you should restrain at all times, save those when your soul is fain, to speak of God in honor and in prayer. The first of virtues, son, if you'll but hear, is to restrain and to guard well your tongue. Thus teach the children while they yet are young. My son, of too much speaking ill-advised, where less had been enough and had sufficed. Much harm may come, thus was I told and taught, in fluent speaking evil wants for naught. Know you of where a rash tongue is as well served, just as a sword has cut deep and has carved a many an arm in two, dear son, just so a tongue can cut a friendship, well I know. A gossip is to God abominable. Read Solomon so wise and honorable, or David's Psalms, what Seneca has said. My son, speak not, but merely bow your head. Dissemble like one deaf, if you but hear a chatterer speak what's dangerous in your ear. The Fleming says, and learn it, for it's best, that little prattle gives us all much rest. My son, if you no wicked word have said, to be betrayed you need not ever dread. But he that has missaid, I dare say, explain. He may not I recall his words again. That which is said, and goes in truth. Though he repent, and be he lief or loath, a man's the slave of him to whom he's told. A tale to which he can no longer hold. My son, beware, and be not author new of tidings, whether they be false or true. There you come, among the high or low, guard well your tongue, and think upon the crow. Here ends the Manciple's tale of the crow.